What have I told you guys? What did I tell you all this time? I never told you that the war is never stopped. Didn't I tell you that Iran's patient has been growing thin? Center Command, for some reason, felt like they need to attack an Iranian oil tanker, especially after the ceasefire has ended. This is as if you are coming to me and saying, let's start a fight. Straight up. Iran said, let's go, girl. Iran's patient has gone thin. America has gone crazy. The world is not able to end the war. Oil prices is got $96 at the moment, $95. Looking for the latest news update regarding this conflict for you. According to the IRGC authorities, statement on tonight's Gulf attack replacing an earlier fake version that spreaded widely. Maybe I should take that down. If I let me see if I posted that. Okay, yeah, I'll take this one down. We'll post the actual statement. Someone goes, Happy Pride Month. I wish in a better circumstances. I wish we had better circumstances. An authenticated statement released by the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps uh, having its actual statement says or detailed a direct multi-stage military exchange with the United States forces across the region. According to the IRGC operational account, the sequence of event is as follows. An initial U.S. strike last night. U.S. forces targeted an Iranian oil tanker near the Strait of Hormuz using a Hellfire missile, resulting in damage to the vessel's engine. Let me guys know if you see the professor is here, okay? First, retaliation. Citing U.S. aggression and violation of maritime regulations and the Strait, the IRGC launched missiles at the Hanaya a vessel designated in the statement as a Zionist American ship, according to the IRGC. A secondary U.S. strike. It was the third thing that happened. U.S. forces countered by striking an IRGC communication node located on Kashem Island. So the IRGC expanded its retaliation. Following the strike on Kashem Island, the IRGC aerospace forces initiated a coordinated missile and drone against assault against regional U.S. military installations. The specified target included U.S. air and helicopter bases in Kuwait, alongside the headquarters of the U.S. Fifth Fleet in Bahrain. Let's post this here. Malcolm is currently live with Mario. Breaking, Centercom is directly calling the IRGC victory claim false, saying that every Iranian attack on U.S. forces tonight missed. This is according to Centercom. Iran's Revolutionary Guard claimed it struck the U.S. Fifth Fleet headquarters in Bahrain and an American airbase in the region with missiles and drones. Centricom response is blunt. None of it landed. By U.S. accounts, the missiles fell short or were intercepted, and no American forces were hit. So here is the closest version yet of a pattern that has held all war. Iran announces a devastating blow, and the U.S. says nothing actually happens. Until independent imagery or damage assessment surface, especially from airspace, then we would have a better idea. What have I told you? I'm looking for news. If you see me quiet, it's because I'm trying to see what else is breaking. I'm not finding any new footage. Yeah, I'm not finding anything new. Maybe we call it. Let's see if you guys have any questions. UAE, Kuwait, Bahrain attacked after U.S. tried to take out radar tower on Qashem, and after they hit a ship, the Iranian oil tanker. Let's see if you guys have any questions. If you don't mind, like dropping them. Well, look who's here. We have Professor Piotr in the building.
Hi, Wajeeh. How are you?
I'm all right. How are you, my friend?
I'm all right. I'm trying to make sense of what's happening in Kuwait right now, and Bahrain. They seem to have been struck by some Iranian missiles.
Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, they're all been struck. The sequence of event, according to the Iranian government, is that the United States struck an oil tanker with a Hellfire missile toward the engine, dismantling the engine of the ship. That resulted in Iran attacking a oil tanker or ship related, which they call Zionist ship. Um, and the U.S. government was able to defend that. So the U.S. government, in response to that, they hit a radar tower on Qasem Island. So Iran was like, hell with that. So they started attacking the rest of the um, Gulf states that has, specifically, they were targeting American airbase in Bahrain, and they were trying to target another base in UAE. So that's the sequence of events.
Yeah, we've seen footage of Kuwait with debris from interceptor missiles scattered on the ground. We've seen unconfirmed but early reports of sort of blasts in. Well, there were unconfirmed reports of blasts in the central city of Isfahan. But that was not a very great and reliable source. But what we did see was the fresh footage coming out of Kuwait with the interceptors and basically hitting from those incoming projectiles from the Iranians. So it shows you, I think, how well prepared the Kuwaitis have, but also like quick questions start raising is like, how many of these stockpiles do they have? How many of these weapons do they have? And capable of sort of like UAE, they did a remarkable job of intercepting a lot of the missiles from the Iranians in March, right? I think they had, the last time I checked, over 4,000 or 3,500 thereabouts, versus Qatar, which is about 800-900, so not even like a fourth. But the Emiratis were quickly saying that, like, we're running out of interceptors, we're running out of
Yeah.
stockpile ammunition. So Kuwait, which is obviously even smaller, one wonders about how much they've got. I don't think we're seeing too many more strikes right now. It seems to have calmed down. But yeah, you had the air raid sirens echoing across the area, and I think it was what, Ali Al Salem Air Base was being
Yeah.
hit.
Yes.
Yeah,
The other
and
thing is that like they're using American Patriot missile, which could cost easily between $3 to $4.5 million versus the Iranian ballistic missiles that they're sending, which costs about what 60 between $60,000 to maybe $100,000 if you're talking to a ballistic missile.
yeah, interceptors can go for so much more than the actual set of drones. Right, a drone can be anywhere from 15 to 20,000, versus a couple of interceptors. You're talking about several $1 million. So each time you're using an interceptor to intercept, ideally, a missile, you have to use more than one to ensure the projectile is adequately destroyed, but also dispersed enough that it still doesn't create damage when it hits the ground. You may have heard me say this before, but in other interviews, it's been clear to me that the Iranians are waiting for a response to this, and this comes from the Americans striking the ship earlier today. Right, there was that Iranian tanker in the Strait of Hormuz, and there was a huge amount of backlash within Tehran, and this is the Iranians wanting to do something to demonstrate that they're more than capable of responding, but also that they're very well aware of what's going on around them. I think it's given a clear indication of just how much surveillance the Iranians still have. Never really went away, and as I've said before in other conversations, the importance of the Navy, which the maritime operations, these small speedboats that exist with the rocket launchers or the existing chain guns or machine guns on the front, these are very easy to keep in quick supply and very hard to really take down effectively. So I think that the Iranians were looking for a reason to strike out against. They're not going to strike Israel. It's not worth their time, right, Wajeeh? But they're not going to strike American targets necessarily directly. So they're going to go after American allies and continue to deepen that rift between the Gulf states and the US.
Well, earlier, or earlier for us today, for them, probably yesterday, Iran was saying that they're getting ready to shut down Bab el Mandab, which is the other strait. You have the Strait of Hormuz, and then right at the Horn of Africa, you have Bab el Mandab, which is the between Somaliland, Ethiopia, and then Yemen. It's one of the most contested water space in the world, and it is the where the rest of the world is getting some of its emergency oil at the moment. And if that gets shut down by any reason, we are in deep shit. Let me pull that out.
Yeah. No, you pull that up, man. Um, yeah, I don't see how it can get much worse, to be honest with you. The Iranians are just really demonstrating their military flexibility here, and their ability to exert more influence in a part of the world that a lot of people didn't think that they had much influence at all, or at least not as much as they have demonstrated. And I just got a great conversation with Larry Johnson, and we were debating about the biggest nuclear option the Iranians have. I think I told you this during our podcast on Sunday. The biggest option they have is the Hormuz. It's always more the nuclear option of the economics than it is, excuse me, the actual literal nuclear option, so to speak. So, but take us through on the matter.
Um, so we're used to watching this, and we all know what this is by now. This is a Strait of Hormuz, but this is Bab al Mandab right here. Saudi Arabia now has its oil coming from here through pipelines all the way to north of Saudi Arabia, about right there. Yumbo, and from Yumbo, it either goes up to Europe through the Suez Canal, or it goes down through Bab el Mandeb to Asia. Now, Asia is what all of Europe and the rest of the world, including the United States, is dependent on to get, more than 99% of its goods. 90% of its goods. But if Asia has 100% of its oil cut off from here, now we are all in deep shit. Europe might still have access to the Suez Canal and get access to the oil, which be okay for them. But Europe is also dependent on Chinese products and Japanese products, and they're all getting their oil through here. The other thing is that we need to know is that Asia's oil refineries are not designed to buy American oil and refine American oil. That's just not, the refineries are not designed for that. So Trump is coming out and saying, oh, we're selling oil now more than ever before. But the countries we're dependent on to buy products from, which is Asia, they can't use US oil. They can't refine it. So if this shuts off, including this, then we're in deep shit. Here's the other thing. The internet cable passes by here and passes by here. Both of these points for the internet cable, Iran can easily sever using an anchor. China has done this so many times where they have an anchor going all the way to the bottom of the sea, and a ship would, cross that area until the anchor cuts off the wires, and then where the global uh, economy gets disconnected from the internet cables.
Yeah, it's one of those things, really, isn't it? The Russians have been floating around quite a large part of the UK and the undersea cables. This is how modern nation states are going to be dealing with a lot of these sorts of things, not necessarily through conventional attacks anymore. The Iranians don't have that, I think, uh, capacity right now, but they can do a lot of damage by simply taking out or putting a lot of pressure and threat on these underwater cables. Right, it's that's hugely vulnerable. But I've lived in the Horn of Africa. I've been there for quite a few years. I know that area quite well. And I could tell you that the Strait of Hormuz is one thing. If you're going to start putting pressure on that area where the Suez Canal and even more trade goes, Hormuz is primarily around oil and a couple of other raw materials. But it's the Suez Canal and that whole broader Gulf of Aden stretch of water, which is, I mean, it kind of makes the Strait of Hormuz look like a bit of a picnic. To be honest with you, in terms of just right? In one way, it's quite bad for Hormuz, but like if we think it's bad right now, we don't want to imagine what it's going to be like with the Gulf of Aden and the Suez Canal, just because of how much traffic goes through there and what it will do for the permanent costs. It will come back to all of us, but also the impact from shipping, the shipping confidence, insurance, risk premiums, all of that. It's going to absolutely get worse. And my concern is never go back down. So if the Iranians are genuinely planning that, the Trump administration seriously needs to get its act together in terms of people need to put pressure on the Trump administration to get some kind of deal, because it's going to be absolutely terrible.
So, 5 minutes ago, Iraq has issued a zero fly zone over its airspace. And 4 minutes ago, Bahrain just issued an absolute ban until 4 p.m. Over its airspace. Uh, Tensions are increasing I mean, according to your expertise, do at this point should we expect tick for tack? Is it too early to say that?
I think it's I mean, I don't know. Tell me, rephrase it. Let me think, because I'm still sort of thinking about it.
I'm thinking you were saying earlier Iran was waiting for and I agree, I definitely agree with you because I feel like Iran's patience was growing thin. You were saying Iran was just waiting for essentially permission for themselves to go and attack the United States, and the United States attacking its oil tanker gave Iran that permission. Now, the last attack was done by Iran. Could we expect the United States to do another attack on Iran and then Iran doing another attack on a U.S. ally?
No, I don't think so tonight. I think you've got to remember that, right? You've heard me say this before, but these kinds of wars will always happen. These kinds of military operations always occur at this time of night. It's standard to see these kinds of if you're going to launch a retaliatory strike or a set of retaliatory strikes, you're going to do so in the dead of night. This war entirely took off because you saw it happening in the early phases of the morning. So at about 4 5 p.m. AM around the Gulf states, I think about 3 hours ahead of the UK. I'm not sure where you are. I think you're in the US, right? So several hours ahead of both of us, and you're going to do this in that sort of twilight light where it is dark. It's sort of night, but the beginning of the sun is literally the first sort of rumbles of a sunrise are beginning to occur. So it gives you a little bit of if you're flying high and you're conducting airstrikes or aerial operations, it's going to give you a little bit of edge over the ground units which don't have that sort of same level of visibility. So yeah, in my mind, it's pretty standard to see the Bahrainians. I'm not sure if that's where the people. Those are from Bahrain. Into
Bahraini. Yeah, Bahrainians.
Bahrainians. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty
Bahraini. Bahrainis.
Bahrainians. Okay. So yeah, I think that's going to be the case for the next 12 hours, and the Iranians are going to wait until this time of night to retaliate against the U.S. Strikes from the attacker on their operations against the Iranian attacker. It doesn't surprise me, to be honest with you, but I don't think the US.
A man with a bomb strapped to his chest has taken a hostage and uh, 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 has taken a hostage inside a Chase Bank in California. Police are on the scene actively negotiating right now. One wrong move, and this can be a very bad situation for what is going on?
Well,
Damn.
some people would say it's all connected, wouldn't they? It's very convenient for that to be happening right when we've just had these strikes, right? It's a bit weird timing, but yeah, the world is just out of kilter, isn't it? Let me just see here.
Yeah, this is just something else. Well, well, I certainly hope it has nothing to do with the war, and I certainly hope this gets sorted out. And I pray for the victim. And yeah, this this just came out like a minute ago.
Hmm. Where are you reading that?
Um, CBS, CBS News. Yeah, CBS News.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. I hope that everything gets under control. There, I can't much to comment on that. I don't have enough information. But
No, no.
it's just, I think it's just a symbol of the direction of things, isn't it? The fallout from what's happening with the war and how it's coming back to harm domestic populations, societies, communities, right? Um, what I find interesting is that Trump has been working so hard to claim that the war, the US and Iran haven't stopped speaking. He made a post on True Social saying erroneous fake news that discussions between the US and Iran have proceeded without interruption, including intensified exchanges, or what he said was rapid pace. over the past few days. So that's yeah, it's pretty clear he's frustrated, but he's very desperate for that deal. Otherwise, he wouldn't keep emphasizing it, would he? He's emphasizing it more than the Iranians are. The Iranians seem largely indifferent, right? Jay, can you hear me?
Yeah, I heard you. I'm just like trying to catch up, trying to see if anything else is dropping, but I definitely agree with you. We're at a situation where everyone is struggling economically in the United States. A majority of the public is paycheck to paycheck, and everyone is looking for any reason to blame it on the other side. So at this point, I don't know if this is someone just having a horrible day and has something to do with Chase Bank, or I don't know if this is has to do with Iran and this is a terrorist attack. This is just too early. But we're just at a place in this country where gun violence at a peak. Violence is on a regular basis, whether it's gun or non-gun. Polarization is at a historically high level. And I think there's direct correlation between income inequality and political polarization in this country. We talked about it many times. And this war seems like it's a distraction from all of this for the American people to be distracted from this political economy. And yet it's aggravating the situation, not making it like it's not making it in previous wars, when we go to war, the U.S. economy would prosper a little bit. But in this situation, we totally did a whole miscalculation on Iranian capabilities to control the Strait of Hormuz, that the whole global economy suffered, including ours. And Americans are still barely making ends meet.
I mean, I don't know what to tell you, mate. The war is going to be the absolute death of Donald Trump's uh legacy. He thought he could replicate the Abraham Accords that he'd established in his first term, and were, in some many ways a pretty remarkable diplomatic achievement. But he has completely undone all of that and everything else, even more so with this war. It is completely it's only hit the American taxpayer, the American public, as you so rightly point out. So yeah, get ready for a pretty hammering day at the midterms, right?
Absolutely. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm not seeing anything new regarding the attacks. I think like you're absolutely correct. Correct. This is it for tonight. The sunrise is coming up, and it's way harder to do attacks when the sun is up. And people usually take command during the night with these attacks. Um, hopefully this is it. Let's rehatch tomorrow. I won't be available because I have my own doctor appointments. Maybe after I come back, I can do a space or something. But Thursday or Friday, we said you and I might do something with Malcolm. So we'll
Yeah,
see what
guys, we're
we do.
thinking of doing a three-way chat with Malcolm. Definitely down for that. With Jim, it would be absolutely awesome to join you guys on the Substack conversations. Certainly, look, from my perspective, I think this is we've reached peak time right now. This isn't meant to be an all-out conflict restarter. This isn't trying to reignite what we saw at the end of March, right? It's a demonstration to the Americans that we can do a lot of military operations if we want. We are not going to allow you to attack a Iranian tanker and get away with it. We're not going to be bullied around. We're not going to be insulted. We're not going to be pressured, coerced, etc., etc. We are going to respond in kind, but we're also going to show restraint. right? We're going to show restraint by not going further than we need to. We've struck a couple of sites. I don't think anyone's been killed. Maybe there's been a couple of minor casualties because these are still obviously big explosions. But this has been a limited strike. It's been a limited operation with the intent of just, it's more about the political posturing and diplomatic theatre than it is about actual military engagement, right? If they wanted to do that, then they would start striking American targets directly, or Israel, and what we saw in the 12-Day War or earlier on in the year. So this is a what I call a flare up. It's a moment of heightened intensity, but that's as far as it goes. It's always concerning, and well, that's why we're here talking now, Wajeeh. But yeah, I think it's, we'll wake up tomorrow, the light will be there, we'll be able to see the extent of the damage. But as you say, the no-fly zone is going to remain in place, and you'll hear me say it again, but the Iranians are very much about proportionality, right? They're not going to go overboard. They're going to strike in a way that they think is just enough to show to themselves, to their people, to third parties like the Gulf states, we are here, we are ready to fight you, we are willing to do this, but not too far that it triggers an all out. Like, I doubt you're going to see, maybe you'll see some strikes on Iran by the Emiratis or the Saudis again, and I don't think you're going to see a retaliation all day tomorrow and this snowball effect, right? It's not going to happen. So I think, yeah, it's good. I'm glad we were able to join each other right now. It's quite late for me,
Thank you.
actually, 1:30. So I'm probably going to go to bed after this. But yeah, it's good to join you on this stream, and let's definitely do something for Thursday or Friday or both.
Yeah, it's also dinner time for me. I need to order out some food and start winding down. I appreciate you, my friend, and we'll see you Thursday or Friday.
See you there, everybody. Take it easy. Take it easy.
Have a good one. Bye bye.